Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. So, I know yesterday I did a video on the Genesis story and all that. You know, who is the Elohim, and were we made in the image of Elohim, and what is Elohim? Because we're always told, right, we're made in the image of God, right? Well, if you actually read Genesis and read the cuneiform that goes hand in hand with it, you realize it's in the image of the gods, little g, okay? The gods. We're made in the image of the Anuna, the Elohim, the Anunnaki. Elohim is plural, gods. It is not the prime creator of the universe, okay? So, unless you think that all of existence, which is the mind of God, essentially, is walking around looking like a human, well, you've been clowned. Sorry to tell you, but you're a clown, because, and of course, you would probably, if you're Christian or Muslim or who knows, you would probably come back at me and say, oh, well, Jesus was God walking the earth. Well, yeah, of course. Well, of course Yeshua was. As we all are. Because we are all fractals of the source of creation, of God, you could call it. We all have the spark of divinity in us. And Yeshua was our brother that tried to wake us up, but you guys all went back to sleep. So yes, Yeshua was God, but we are all God, okay? So it's time to wake up, people. It really is. But anyways, we're going to take a break from that here. I had some stuff this morning I had to do, so it's going to be a shorter video. I'm already almost halfway to work, so about 20 minutes here. But basically, what I want to talk about is the end of the illusion. We're finally breaking the matrix. We're finally getting ready to walk out of Plato's cave. We're finally getting ready to see things for what they truly are. We're watching all of our systems crumble. We're starting to realize that all government is a group of criminals that hide behind ideologies. You got your capitalistic, religious, typically conservative right. And then you've got your, at least they claim, academic, more atheist, typically more socialist, some of them communist, left, right? And it's just this battle between them, and everybody gets divided, and we pick sides. I'm a socialist, I'm with the left. I'm a conservative Christian, so I'm with the right. Well, folks, when you all break it down, both sides are just criminals playing you guys. That's it. You're being played by criminals, by psychopaths, by sociopaths. Look, in this world, to get to a powerful position, you have to be a hardcore narcissist and typically a sociopath or a psychopath. You crave power over other people. That's your desire. And you'll climb on top of anybody you have to get to that position. Or you trick and manipulate people to vote for you under lies and false pretense. And then you go in there and look, folks, I get it. There are a few good guys or good girls, right? There's a few of them. I'm not making blanket statements here that every single person's corrupt and evil. No. But a good majority of those on both sides of the aisle are corrupt, evil psychopaths. I'm just telling you the truth, folks. And look, I'm only talking about what's being uncovered, okay? Doge is proving that most of our taxes it doesn't even go to what we think it goes to. It's laundered away and stolen. And if you still don't understand this, then you're not paying attention. Probably because you're watching CNN and you're falling for this divide and conquer strategies, right? Or misinformation or misdirection. Like, don't look at what Doge is actually uncovering and who's stealing from you. No, this is all ploy by the right. Elon Musk is making this all up to try to get rich, make his own company richer. Or so, who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying, look, it's all bullshit, folks. Like, all that's being uncovered is what those of us that actually pay attention and use this thing in our head called our brain and are spiritually attuned, at least to a degree where, we can see through bullshit. We're seeing what we've always known, that the government is absolutely corrupt. The media is a mouthpiece for the government, that it's state propaganda, and they're corrupt. They lie, they misdirect, and they hide information. And we're seeing that these taxes that keep you on this never-ending debt cycle, that keep you, that rob your wealth, your time, your intellect, your creativity, that steal everything that you produce and work for in this world, that is a parasitic force on it. That's also that there's a handful of people that can get into government and then they figure out schemes to launder that money into their own pockets or their own family's pockets or their own buddies' pockets. See, folks, it's all a scam. In fact, I would say that you almost have to struggle anymore to find anything real. You will start, as the matrix starts breaking down, you're going to see, or you are seeing, that everything is a scam. Everything in your life, everything you thought was real. History, a lie. Religion, a lie. Government, a lie. Media, a lie. It's all lies, folks. And it starts to make me wonder, then what the hell are all of us? I mean, what are we all doing here, and why do we live in a world that's this way? Right? I mean, have we all become so addicted to the dark side of this realm, to the duality, that we have all become corrupt in some way or fashion, to the point that we allow rampant corruption and evil because we in ourselves, in our own families, in our own personal spaces, are corrupt and evil too. I hate to delve down this road, folks, but look, I've already explained, when you come into this body, into the human beast, the body, the 666, right? That it's the corruptible, animalistic form, that this higher consciousness that we truly are, that comes from a higher dimension, that came into this realm, and the avatar human body is what allows you to immerse yourself in this world, that it's a very seductive, it's a very corruptive form. And everybody builds an illusion to give to the public, but when you look past that illusion, pretty much everybody's lying. So that's just a reflection in what we see in public figures. Look, we're even media, even entertainment. Look at what we're looking at there. Hollywood is a den of weirdos and sexual degenerates. I mean, Hollywood is a disgusting nest of creeps. All these, I remember back in the 80s and 90s, I mean, you could never talk bad on these famous actors, right? Oh man, there's that Tom Cruise guy, he's amazing, and Leonardo da Vinci, he's a great actor, he's my favorite actor, man. People just worshiping these people, right? Like, worshiping them like stars, right? The stars, think about it, they call themselves stars. And then we find out that in these people's personal lives, they're some of the most disgusting, degenerate people you could ever imagine, because they've been corrupted by their own fame, by their riches, by this adulation from human beings, right? They their ego got built up so big that they believe they're above the law, that they're allowed to do whatever they want, and they get sicker and sicker as their desires get, deeper and darker. And isn't it interesting how like 80% of it, and I'm exaggerating. Look, folks, I don't know the true percentage, but my God, they got to make a point of it like it's some kind of a trophy, right? But look at the percentage of them that have these weirdo kids and shit that are like, cutting parts off and all that. Look, read between the lines. I can only say so much, but you get what I'm saying. These were your stars, these people you worshipped, and you put their posters on your walls. And same with the musicians. And then you start looking at these musicians and watching what these videos they do, watching them at these ceremonies, at their concerts, and they're doing all this like, ritualistic performances, satanic if you want to call it, openly and proudly. And then they'll sit there to your face and deny it. Oh, I'm a Christian. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I wasn't just back there just doing a fucking satanic ritual. What are you talking about? I wasn't just back there standing in a pentagram and, and dressed like a demon and having fake blood poured on me and stuff. I wasn't doing that. You were imagining that. He's like, no, asshole, I just seen you do it. Well, I'm not really a satanic. It was just a performance art. That's all. Look at how many of these politicians and celebrities are best friends with this witch, this Marina Abramovich. Whatever the hell her name is. Marina Abramovich. And that all kind of went away when people started looking into her. I did a long article on her years ago on Facebook, and that was one of the first posts I did on Facebook that really hammered my page. I literally dug into her past. And at the time, this was when she was still at her peak popularity in the open. She just done that thing with Jay-Z and Lady Gaga's at her, going to her like weird dinners. If you've seen the pictures, you know what I'm talking about. Robert De Niro buddies with her, and Bill Gates was talking about how great she was. Remember his first VR headset he was working on, Microsoft? They were going to do a special Marina performance on it that you could download, and then it came out what she was actually into, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, Microsoft pulled out of that, and old Billy the gatekeeper tried to distance himself from her all of a sudden. These people, folks, it's all an illusion. And I've been breaking down, and I get the most hate, honestly. Trust me, right now, the conservative right's probably just cheerleading me on right now, right? Yeah, keep telling the truth. Yeah. Okay, well, here you guys go. Your religion's bullshit. Everything is bullshit that you think is truth. I've been teaching you guys, but most of you won't look. Like I said at the beginning of this video, go actually read Genesis without the bullshit Pastor Dan narrative and everything, and read the Atra Hasis and the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you're going to find that humans are a hybrid species created by some other, I don't know what they are. Were they the leftover Atlanteans? Were they a star people from another dimension or world or planet? Or I don't know what the hell the Anunnaki or Nuna really were. I can speculate. Or the Elohim, as they're called in the Bible. Yes, folks, Elohim is God's plural, not God. So stop saying you're made in the image of God. You're not. You're made in the image of the Elohim, the Anuna, the Anunnaki, which will really piss you off. Okay? Those you would call fallen angels. Yeah, you're made in their image. Whether you like it or not, you got their DNA and their blood in you. You look like them. That's why you look at the old depictions of the Anunnaki. There's thousands and thousands of cylinder seals and inscriptions on ancient pillars and ruins. And guess what? They look humanoid. Some of them are shown with wings on their backs. They're humanoid, but if you look at their the designs in their bodies and legs, it's kind of odd because they're like human looking, but they're not really human. But folks, that's because we're not all like native hominid of the earth. A lot of our body is from the original hominids that were walking the earth at the time. They even talk about it in the Atrahasis, the black-headed people that were living amongst the animals in the wild like animals. Think of maybe Sasquatch, stuff like that, right? And they say how they brought some of these beings into the Garden of Eden and they genetically manipulated their DNA. They fashioned a new worker class slave race to take away the work of the gods, the Igigi. Okay, folks, it's even in your Bible in Genesis. But see, the narrative that you're reading it under is bullshit. It's time you deconstruct it, folks, and take another look at it. And you'll see I'm telling you the straight truth here. But you don't want to see the truth. Just like you think Easter's about Jesus. Now, yes, the resurrection story has been woven into Easter, but Easter is the celebration of Ishtar, of Inanna. Inanna was her original name. She was one of the most popular Anuna gods, one of the highest ranking. Half of your cuneiform stories are about Inanna. She's in the Epic of Gilgamesh. There's Inanna's descent into the underworld. And the underworld, folks, is not hell. The underworld is earth. Earth is the underworld to heaven, to the higher realms. Okay? It's the story of the spirit coming to earth. And then when she dies, she's hung on a cross for 3 days in the underworld. And then Enki sends minions to go grab her, retrieve her body, and he resurrects her and brings her back up to the higher dimensions. She's the queen of heaven, folks, not the queen of earth. Do you not see what... Look, folks, I also one of my theories, if these aren't like Atlanteans or some leftover race or some, galaxy or universe traveling race or dimensional traveling race, the Elohim are probably our brothers and sisters that came from the higher dimensions to build this game, this world, to terraform this world, to set it up, to build the Matrix. And they were supposed to be the watchers, like in the book of Enoch. But they got addicted to this world, to the lower dimensions. They got seduced by duality. And they ended up setting themselves up as gods on the earth. Well, if you trace everything back, folks, all of your religion, your banking systems, your civil, structures, the civilization, all of that goes back to the Anuna. A lot of the cuneiform tablets are talking about how humans didn't devise animal husbandry and how to grow crops and build canals and build cities and build a currency system, right? Currency, banking, controlling the flow of energy. That's all money represents, is energy, right? They all say that it was the Anuna gods that taught them all of that stuff. And the book of Enoch talks about this, how the Watchers taught mankind warfare, women how to wear makeup, how to beautify their bodies, their faces. I mean, how to brew, even beer, and of course, I've seen this on a secular site, because, these secular sites, the academic world all lies too, folks. Everything you learn in school is a freaking lie. Just like Big Bang Theory and Darwin evolution's all bullshit, folks. It's just their fairy tale, just like the Christians and the Muslims and the Judeans have their fairy tales. Okay? But this article was talking about, the oldest beer formula came from Sumer. It was found on cuneiform tablets. But you know what they don't mention on there? In that cuneiform tablet, it literally says, the gods taught mankind how to brew beer. They gave them the recipe. But of course, that atheist academic Facebook page that's very big and popular, pushing, secular bullshit all the time, it kept that out of the article. And then I made a comment under there saying, look, The Anuna were the ones that handed humankind the ability to brew beer, the recipes and the know-how. And everybody laughing, you're a clown, man, whatever, this ain't a Bible page. I mean, that's how dumb these people are, man. I mean, everybody's in the illusion. They're in the lie. You can't tell anybody anything. People don't want to know the truth. And I've come to realize that. And I want to clarify, there are some people that want to know the truth, but it's a very small percentage. The reason I say nobody wants to know, because you're talking like 98% of people in the world are like literally empowering the Matrix, because they act as NPCs. They don't want to know truth. They want to believe their lies that they've grown up on, they've been indoctrinated into, programmed to believe. They don't want to know this stuff about the Bible. They don't want to know that they were created as a slave race. They don't want to know that. Because then all of a sudden their Bible isn't as magnificent as they thought it was. Because they were under this assumption that Yahweh is this champion God, that they were created in his image. And he came and walked the earth as Yeshua. And that's all bullshit. Not once did Yeshua ever say Yahweh was his father. No, Yeshua was teaching about the true source. The Father, the creator of all, the source of all creation. Because, folks, Yeshua was a mystic. He was an Essene. And so was his family. And his wife. Yes, his wife. Or you could call her his companion. Maybe they were never officially married before he was massacred by the Romans that, created your church. They went through the mystery school teachings in Egypt. And part of those mystery school teachings is you go through an OBE, NDE ritual. This is well known. Look it up in Egypt. You can read it. The pharaohs did this. All the top people in Egypt would go through this process. And that was all carried. That was still being practiced. Many people made pilgrimages to Egypt, including a lot of Greeks and Romans, famous ones, just so they could go through this process. And what do you find when you go through that process? You realize that this world's the illusion, it's the lie. And that when you go out of your body, you're in your higher state, you're in your pure consciousness, your spirit, and you're free of the body that's a prison. And you're able to get downloads from the universe. You're able to speak with spirit guides, with your higher self, with the true source. And then you realize this is all bullshit. In that realm, everything's pure manifestation. It purely is heaven. And so then Yeshua and his Essenes, his apostles that were studying the same things as him, they were trying to teach you all this. And instead, you guys all got it mixed up because the Roman power structure could not have these truths meted out to the population. Imagine, what kind of power does a Caesar have when the illusion of his power is gone? Because, the Caesars used to say that they were like gods, right? Incarnate gods. Well, they were. We all are. And that's the thing. They didn't want you all knowing that you are too a god walking on earth. A god that's been tricked into thinking you're a human being in this limited human avatar that the Anunnaki created to, for a time, trick and imprison your soul into this world where they can manipulate and use you to build their systems, to feed off your energy. You've all been tricked, folks. And if you really want to know the truth, once you understand all this, you understand that Yahweh, this character walking through the Garden of Eden that kicked Adam and Eve out, right? Because he got angry over the serpent telling them the truth, that they are incarnate spirits, and he made them self-aware. Enlil is Yahweh. Enlil, in the Atra Hasis, go read the Atra Hasis, you see the parallel story. Yahweh is Enlil, and the serpent is Enki. It's the same story, folks. But see, the Judeans, they made Yahweh their chief god. He was just one of the Anuna. He was of the ranking Anuna, the royal Anunnaki. And they made him their chief god. And then they rewrote these ancient stories that were passed down for thousands of years before the Bible. Thousands of years. I've already told you guys, look it up. The oldest book known from the Bible, the Old Testament, is the book of Job. And boy, what a pisser that book is, right? Oh, wow. Hey, God loves you so much. Here, he's going to have a little gambling session with the devil and let him destroy Job, right? Yeah, go ahead, devil. Do whatever you want to this creep. Just, he's my most loving, worshiping human. He's very loyal to Yahweh. So go ahead, devil. Go torture him, dude. Destroy his whole life, dude. Take everything from him, and I'll prove that he's still as true and loyal to me. I mean, come on, man. How sadistic, folks, do you think your Old Testament God is? He's a jealous God. He tells you, I do great good and I do great evil. You think that's really the source of all creation, folks? Come on. I just... Look, I know I lose subscribers every time I try to wake Christians up. They get butthurt and they get the hell out of here because they don't want to hear it, man. Because they like believing in this fairy tale that they can go sit in church on every Sunday, give Pastor Dan some money on the offering plate, and that they think they got their ticket punched to heaven. And that's it, man. They the rest of the week they do crazy shit, treat people like shit, do whatever. They probably work for the government, stealing from people. They probably, are a banker or something, stealing from people. Who knows what they're doing? And I don't know. They could do legit. Maybe they're a lineman or a plumber, and they're actually doing real work. But maybe they're also ripping people off, overcharging people, upselling things they don't need. Look, man, everybody, it seems, in this world's a freaking scammer anymore. Everybody scams everybody, it seems. I mean, it seems like you can't get your car worked on anymore without a mechanic scamming you. You can't get an electrician to work on your house without them scamming you. You can't get an HVAC guy to work on your house without them scamming you. Everybody scams everybody. It's a joke. You go to buy a car, the salesman's scamming you. Your job lies to you. They call you a human resource, which means you're nothing to them but a tool that they use and abuse, and they'll toss you away when they don't need you. And if you think that you matter to that, I've been with this job for 20 years. They really love me. They gave me a little paper they printed up the other day that said for 20 years of service. Oh, they didn't give you a fucking bonus or anything that really matters, right? They were like, hey, man, why don't you go take 2 weeks full paid off? It won't count against your vacation time. Because you 20 years of service, man. We're going to actually do some good for you. And you know what? We threw a $500 bonus on your check. You didn't, no strings attached. No. They give you a stupid little piece of paper and a little pin. Here you go, 20 years of service. Is this gold? Well, it's got a fake gold paint on it. I always say this because, look, I was with a company for a long time, and trust me, that's the bullshit they do to you. Oh, they might throw you a pizza party. Okay, everybody, gather around. We ordered a couple pizzas from Little Caesars. For Joe here, for his 20 years of service. And here's his paper we just printed up off the printer. Here you go, Joe. And here's your pin with fake gold paint on it. Oh, man. But I'll tell you what. If Joe says, fuck this place, I'm out of here, I'm done with this. Or if he calls in one too many times, or he, walks, he gets sick and tired of the boss, and he gets mad and he blows up on him. All of a sudden they fire his ass. He's gone. They replace him the next day. They don't care. You think they really care about you? Just like your church. You think your church really cares about you? Look, most of these churches, folks, are businesses, okay? They're businesses. They scam you out of money, and then they reinvest that money into real estate. Oh, because they got to build a bigger, fancier church to bring more people into God's service. Well, they're here lying to you about, if they can't even tell you the truth about Genesis, and they definitely never touch on Revelation, then everything in between, what are they telling you the truth of? Have they told you about Yeshua's traveling the world and him learning from mystics and teachers all around the world? From him teaching in Hindu and Zoroastrian temples and Buddhist temples? Because it's all documented, folks. He was called Isa, I-S-S-A, Isa. He's documented. The Dalai Lama says he's got scrolls that document Yeshua's travels all the way to Tibet. And then there's people that have done research on this because he had a rich uncle that was at one of the richest merchants in the world. And he had ships and he had caravans on the Silk Roads. And well, Yeshua and his family would travel with him, and he would learn from these mystic teachers all around the world. And then remember the missing years of Yeshua? You guys never questioned, well, where was he all that time? He was traveling the world, you idiots. He was learning the mystic teachings. He was learning the mystery school teachings in Egypt. He was traveling in all throughout even parts of France and Europe and learning with the Druids. That's why they always show pictures and ancient paintings of Yeshua holding magic wands, of Hollywood wands. I kid you not. Go look it up. And I know that people did that to trick you, right? Just like the cuneiform tablets were written by demons to trick Christians thousands of years later. But going back to that, like I said, the cuneiform's thousands and thousands and thousands of years older than the Old Testament or the New Testament. And in fact, it may surprise some of you to find out that a lot of the Old Testament was written AD. So it's all bullshit, folks. You've all been tricked. I mean, I hate to tell you, but you've all been tricked. And there's this one little group of people that have, made themselves the chosen of the creator of the universe in their own minds. They wrote it into their book, and you all believe it. And you worship these people, and you empower them. Isn't it weird how when you look at most of our Congress, or like a third or half of Congress, is dual citizens? Why? How can you even be a dual citizen and be in a position of power, creating laws in a nation? You should be a natural-born citizen only. There should be no foreigners or immigrants that can be congressmen or senators or Supreme Court or federal judges. To be any of those, you should be a natural-born American citizen. And you shouldn't be able to be a dual citizen. Look, folks, you start breaking all this down, and you realize you've all been scammed and lied to. Okay, guys, I'm done with my rant. I'm here at work. I got to go in. Once again, it seems as if it turned into a black pill. Look, folks, here's the real red pill, okay? You are infinite source. You are one with the Father, with the Creator. And by Father, look, the true God of creation is not a male or female. If anything, it embodies both the divine masculine and feminine, because you need those energies for creation. I even know the Abrahamic faith tried to scrub the Mother, the Holy Spirit, right? They tried to merge it with the Father and Son. Oh, where's the Mother? Well, there is no Mother. It's only God and the Son. And then God's spiritual essence is the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. No, dude. The Holy Spirit's the Trinity of the Father, Mother, and Child. It's time to wake up, people. Stop being stupid, man. I'm just... And look, when I tell you guys ultimate truth, I know who the real ones are. The real ones are the ones that reach out to me and they're like, hey man, you hit it out of the park. Hey man, I get what you're saying. Or even some people that are new to this and they're like, man, you're waking me up. Like, wow, I never realized these things. And then I see the fake ones. They unsubscribe or they send me messages, I'm going to hell, or the Bible's the only truth. The only salvation and way to heaven is through Jesus, right? The character that Rome created. Not our true brother Yeshua, who was a mystic teacher and was truly teaching us the secrets of life after death. But you chose to ignore what that's about. And then you started worshiping him as a god when he was just trying to wake you up. He was your brother. He loves you, man. He embodied the true teachings of love. He brought them to earth. He spent all that time traveling the world, learning all the secrets, the mystic teachings. He came to teach you that, and then you jumped back in that black box of Saturn, because that's what the cross is, folks. It's no different from the Kaaba that the Muslims walk around every year at Mecca. It's no different from the little box that the Judeans wear on their foreheads when they go to the Wailing Wall to pray and such. You've all been tricked. The cube of Saturn, Satan. You're all part of it. If you go to church and you don't understand any of this stuff, you're in that cube. I'm sorry to tell you. So rage at me all you want. Look, when you're out of the body, you're one with the Father, with the Creator, okay? Whether you like it or not. And you don't have to have your Christian punch ticket or your Islamic punch ticket to go grab your 70 virgins too after that, right? It's all a joke, folks. You've all been tricked. So, I don't know. I'd like to go deeper on all this, and maybe we will. I think it needs to, because it's time for a wake-up call, folks. Your systems are corrupt. Your governments are corrupt. Your money's corrupt. Your education system's corrupt. Your job place is corrupt. Everything's corrupt. There's probably plenty of corruption within your own family. Because if your family members are working these jobs and all that, and they're scamming people and all that, well, they're part of this, okay? It sucks. I know. I've been going through my own shadow work lately. And look, I'm not saying I'm not corrupt in some fashion, folks, okay? I'm not one of these gurus or whatever. Oh, follow me, I tell you truth. And I'm like Jesus walking the earth. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, look, we all need to look within ourselves, folks. We need to overcome the beast, the body, the carnal self, right? Wasn't that what Yeshua taught? Deny the flesh. Just love each other. And I think a way of showing love is telling truth to each other. Truth, absolute truth. And it's time to start researching, folks, and caring. Because things are going to get really turbulent here coming up. And our world's continuing to be exposed for what it is. And all y'all talking about, oh, you're going to go to hell. Folks, this is hell. Don't you get it? This is the lower dimension. Like I said earlier, in Inanna's descent into the underworld wasn't hell. The underworld was earth. Don't you get it? She came to earth. She was hung on a cross, and she was resurrected in 3 days. Same story, right? Well, why do you think she's tied to Ishtar to Easter? Well, she was Ishtar. That's her Babylonian name. And she was a fertility goddess. And she also was represented the spring equinox. And those eggs that you have your kids running around collecting every Easter, and you're saying, oh, I put a cross on it. That's why it's a Christian egg. Boy, whoever said Yeshua loves crosses, I don't know, man. You know, I guess Inanna loved crosses too, right? But yeah, those Easter eggs, women used to dip those eggs in their menstrual blood, leave them at her altars for fertility for the, for the spring, for the season of getting shagging, Spring's the time for shagging and, popping out kids and, and all the animals are popping out babies, right? Easter bunny, right? The bunnies. Look how many bunnies get popped out during spring. Rabbits have tons of kids. That's why they always represented, Easter, spring equinox with bunnies. The Easter bunny. Don't you get it? Ishtar bunny. Oh my God, folks. I know I'm going to lose some more subscribers over this. Whatever, man. Hey, I'll speak truth unapologetically. If you can take it, cool, you're a strong-willed person. If you can't, you probably are on the wrong channel. You probably need to go back to, watching some televangelists feed you bullshit, or who knows. What was that, Joyce Meyer, or one of these clowns, Joel Osteen or something? You probably need to go follow them, because he's going to feed you with a load of BS, right? And that's what you probably need. Or go back to your church, Pastor Dan, and go back to sleep. And just accept you're made in the image of God, Elohim. Well, you can pretend that means God, the creator, or you could wake up and realize that means the gods, little g. But hey, that's up to you. Anyways, guys. Hey, man, I really do. I don't mean to sound so harsh, folks, but it gets irritating in a way. When your brothers and sisters don't want to wake up and you want to wake them up. But then I got to realize, look, it's not my job to wake anybody up. I can only plant the seed. And if it grows in some people, cool. If not in others, then whatever, man. Move on, right? So, hey, guys, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Have a great day. Oh, and one more thing. I've been having some amazing one-on-one Zooms with people. Amazing, man. It's amazing. It's awesome. Look, I know a lot of you out there have nobody to talk to, nobody to bounce ideas off. Your family probably thinks you're crazy, your coworkers. You can't speak freely about stuff, ideas you have, or subjects like we're talking about here. Hey, man, donate a little money to ETM. Spend some time with me. We'll have a one-on-one chat. In fact, I usually end up learning from the people that I do the chats with, the Zooms with. It's, you know, and then we record that and you get a copy of that, And I'm not saying I'm a celebrity or anything, but, you can go back and watch it and listen, because the conversations get super deep. Trust me. If you were to ask any of the people that I've done Zooms with, they would tell you it's been fantastic. And many of them line up more of them on a regular basis because, you become friends. You're bouncing ideas off. And like I said, most people don't have anybody they can talk to. They'll get laughed at, derided. I'm the type of person you can talk about anything you want with me. I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to laugh at you, make fun of you, or yell at you, or whatever. Hey, man, cool, let's chat. And a lot of times, I end up being the one that's just giving that person an outlet. And they love the fact that for once they can freely speak without judgment. So, anyways, guys, hey, if you're interested in that, hit me up in the comments. I'm gonna try to figure out some way, because it's been hard without having my Exit the Matrix. I used to just have people go to Exit the Matrix on Facebook. Now, look, folks, a good way to probably do it. I started a new Facebook page since my other one was stolen, and I'm trying to get it back still. It's Exit the Matrix Reborn. The link is in the comments. Please join me on there. You can hit me up on Messenger through that. Okay, let's do that. That's probably a better way to get a hold of me than in the comments on YouTube, because YouTube hides a lot of the comments. So a lot of times I got to dig just to find the comments. You have to reveal all or whatever, and then it'll be like, well, we hid the comments that had no content, or that didn't go with the content, and then you open them up and it'll be like, what? I should have seen this message. It was great. Like somebody's talking about a certain subject or something, or commenting, and I didn't even know, because they hide the comments. So like I said, go to Exit the Matrix Reborn on Facebook. The link's I always put it. It's typically the first link in the description, and join me there and message me there if you're interested. So, hey guys, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later.